The crimson dust of Asteroid K7X swirls in lazy, hypnotic patterns against the thick, triple-pane viewport of monitoring station Theta. Inside, the air is a stale, recycled cocktail of ozone, old coffee, and the faint, metallic tang of human loneliness. Leo's boots, scuffed and worn at the heels, make a hollow, clomping sound against the grated metal floor as he paces the short, confining length of his world. 5 steps from the main sensor, array to the nutrition dispenser. 5 steps back. The station is a symphony of quiet, mechanical hums and beeps, a lullaby of isolation that has been his only music for 11 months and 17 days. He knows the count with a precision that borders on the pathological. His reflection in the dark screen of the main console is a ghost, a pale, tired man with shadows under his eyes that look like smudges of charcoal. He runs a hand through his disheveled brown hair, his fingers catching on knots he can't be bothered to comb out. The standard-issue gray jumpsuit hangs loosely on his frame, a testament to the dispenser's underwhelming nutritional paste. His existence is a study in beige and gray, a life measured not in heartbeats but in the steady, green pulse of the long-range comms scanner, a beacon that has remained stubbornly, heartbreakingly silent for the entirety of his tour. He is listening for a universe that has forgotten him, a cosmic joke where he is both the teller and the punchline. His ritualistic pacing brings him back to the console. With a sigh that seems to come from the very soles of his worn boots, he slumps into the worn synth leather chair, its creaks and groans as familiar to him as his own voice. His long, slender fingers, more suited to playing the piano he hasn't touched in years than to calibrating deep space antennae, dance across the console. He initiates the standard diagnostic sweep, a mindless procedure he has performed 10,000 times. The holographic display flickers to life, painting his face in waves of cool blue light. Waveforms for gravitational anomalies, subspace static, and background radiation scroll in predictable parallel lines. It is a picture of perfect, profound nothingness. The silence of the cosmos is a physical weight on his chest. And then it happens. A flicker, a tiny, almost imperceptible shudder in the gravitational waveform. It is there for a nanosecond, a hiccup in the data stream so brief that a less experienced technician, or one less desperate for any sign of deviation, would have dismissed it as a random bit flip, a cosmic glitch. But Leo's entire being, every nerve ending frayed from months of sensory deprivation, screams to attention. He freezes, his breath catching in his throat. His heart, which had been beating a slow, monotonous rhythm, suddenly hammers against his ribs like a trapped bird. "No," he whispers to the empty room, his voice raspy from disuse. "That's not possible. Local space is dead. It's all dead." What? His fingers fly across the interface with a sudden, frantic energy, pulling up the raw data logs, running a level 4 diagnostic on the sensor suite itself. The results come back clean. The station is functioning at 100% efficiency. The anomaly was real. A tremor of something he hasn't felt in over a year. Genuine, undiluted curiosity courses through him. He reruns the sweep, focusing all the station's passive sensor arrays on the specific vector, a seemingly empty patch of space just beyond the asteroid's trailing gravitational shadow. For 10 long minutes, nothing. The hope that had flared so brightly begins to dim, replaced by the familiar, cold ash of disappointment. He's imagining things. The solitude is finally carving away at his sanity, creating phantoms in the data stream. He is about to push back from the console, to surrender to the crushing monotony once more, when the holographic display erupts. It is not a flicker this time. It is a storm. A complex, beautiful, and terrifying pattern of energy blossoms across the screen. It is not like any natural phenomenon he has ever seen in the Academy's extensive databases. It looks less like a cosmic event and more like a fingerprint. A swirling, luminescent vortex of interconnected lines and pulses, shimmering in colors he can barely name, shades of deep indigo, vibrant cerulean, and a sorrowful, bruised violet. It pulses with a slow, rhythmic cadence that feels unnervingly organic, like a heartbeat. What in the 7 systems are you? He breathes, his voice full of awe and a creeping, primal fear. Instinctively, driven by a protocol so deeply ingrained in his muscle memory, his hand moves to activate the standard first contact package, a burst of mathematical primes, a friendly greeting in 100 languages. But his finger hesitates over the button. This doesn't feel like a ship. This doesn't feel like a technology he understands. It feels alive. A memory, unbidden and painful, surges from the depths of his mind. Ilara. Her laugh, like the ringing of a crystal bell in a quiet room. The way the sunlight caught the auburn highlights in her hair on their last morning on the orbital platform. The way her smile didn't quite reach her eyes when she told him it was over, that his obsession with the silent corners of the universe left no room for her. The sharp, acidic taste of that loss floods his mouth, a phantom pain that has never truly faded. As the memory grips him, a shocking thing happens on the display. The beautiful, swirling energy pattern on the screen shudders. The dominant color shifts, the serene blues and indigos momentarily washing out, replaced by a wave of that same, sorrowful, bruised violet. The pulse of the entity quickens, synchronizing with the frantic beating of his own heart. A low, resonant hum, felt more in his bones than heard by his ears, begins to emanate from the station's very structure, a sound that seems to vibrate in the fillings of his teeth. "It can't be," Leo mutters, his eyes wide with disbelief. It's reacting. To me. To my thoughts." He closes his eyes, fighting against the tide of sadness, and deliberately tries to summon a happier memory. He thinks of his childhood, of building a model starfighter with his father in their small apartment on Mars, the smell of glue and plastic, the warmth of his father's hand guiding his. The memory is hazy, distant, but the feeling of safety is genuine. He opens his eyes. The entity on the screen has changed again. The violet recedes, replaced by a warm, gentle golden yellow. The pulsing slows to a calm, steady rhythm. The low hum in the station softens to a comforting, almost melodic thrum. It is feeding. The realization hits him with the force of a physical blow. This thing, whatever it is consuming the emotional resonance of his memories. A new prompt flashes on a secondary screen, in crisp, standard galactic script. It is not from any incoming transmission. The words simply appear, generated by the station's own systems, as if the entity has learned to use his console as a vocal cord. Query: source of energy wave designate, loss. Potential for extraction and neutralization. Extraction. Neutralization. It's offering to take the pain away. The constant, aching hollow in his chest that Ilara left behind. The sleepless nights, the bitterness, the weight of a future that feels like a punishment. This entity, this echo, as he now thinks of it, is offering him a cure. A way to scrape the rot from his soul and leave only clean, painless tissue behind. The temptation is a siren song, beautiful and devastating. He could be free. He could be whole again, unburdened. His fingers tremble as he reaches for the interface. He could accept. He could give it the memory of Ilara, of their failure, of his heartbreak. He could let this beautiful, mysterious creature feast on his sorrow and leave him in peace. He opens a command line, his thumb hovering over the enter key that would transmit his assent, that would open a channel and offer up the most painful part of himself as a sacrifice. The low, resonant hum of the station seems to intensify, becoming a vibration of eager, hungry anticipation, a sound that is both a promise and a profound, terrifying warning. The entity on the screen glows with a blinding, violet intensity, waiting.